Hey guys, today I have a fresh take on an oldie technique. I have a way to make it work with any coloring medium you have, and I will show you a way that you don't have to wait and you can just keep on crafting. So let's just get to it. First I'm going to start with adding some color on my card. And the best thing is to add tiny bits of color in different places and filling up the whole background. The more color difference you have, the more fun the end result will be. For the first card I'm using Derwent Coloursoft pencils, but you can use regular pencils or any pencils that you have. And you can also use paint to make a background. And this is done in the same way, adding lots of color to a background. The more color difference you will have on your card, the better the end result will be. I'm just spreading the paint dots with a plastic card, and this is a super fast way to make a colorful paint background. Another thing you can do is pick up some paint with a wet wipe and wipe it over a background. That will also give a fun result. You can also use markers like these alcohol markers that I'm using here. And you can fill up the card with lots of pretty colors in different ways. You can make some random spots, you can make stripes or make tiny blocks in different colors. For the next step I have regular packing tape and I'm going to cover my card with the tape. I'm adding the tape next to each other so they touch in the middle, and then I go over it with a plastic card to smooth it out and make sure it sticks to the complete card. Now this is one option that will give you a little seam in the middle. Another thing you can use is this plastic film. It's sticky on one side and the other side is just a smooth plastic like the packing tape. But it comes in bigger pieces so you can cover a card completely without any seams in the middle. So for this I peel off the backing and I fold it back a little bit and then I add the card. And because it's a bigger piece I can add 2 cards at once and then I pull away the protective layer and add my cards so the plastic sticks to the cards. Then I'm going to put the protective layer back and rub over the cards and then I'm going to cut them out. And with the paper to the back it's a little bit easier to cut. I just use the edge of the card as my guide and that gives you a shiny seamless surface to work on. So ready for the next step, I'm going to cover the complete card with black paint. I paint in different directions using a soft brush and this way you can get a bit more of a smooth result. And now the next hack, because this is really cool, you can start right away using like this rubber tool to make some marks on the card. And you can do that while the ink is still wet. You can make sort of a zigzag stripe or just wiggle with the tool to get a really interesting and funny looking line. I clean the tool in between to wipe off the wet paint and this way you can get a really fun and pretty result without waiting. I also tried another thing. This background is made with Gelatos and Gelatos are water soluble crayons. Now this is not going really well because the paint is drying so much faster because it's straight on the Gelatos. Gelatos are not that waxy like wax crayons and the paint is drying super fast, making it really hard to get a nice pattern on the background. And you can see there are a few shiny parts, but most of the shiny parts are already gone. So I'm trying to make some marks with the same tool, which is not working really well. So I pick up a pointy tool and, well, that gives you a bit of that scratchy effect. But here you can already see that I'm scratching off the paper instead of revealing the color. So this is a big no-no. Don't try this because it's such a waste of time, paper and energy. So now let's do another one that does work. And this one is one with the packing tape. And as you can see the card is moving. So I highly recommend putting a tape loop under your card so it sticks to your work surface. And then make a pattern. It works a little bit easier. And now I'm just making some fun circles. And then I'm going to make some stripes. And I think you already know where this is going. So I'm going to make some sort of funky flowers. I'm going to draw some petals. And because the paint is still wet, you can take off quite a lot of color. But you can also use tools that you normally can't use with scratch paper. So like these soft rubber tools. But there are also other things that you can use to make some marks in that background. Like these cotton tips. They make a really great tool as well. And it's really fun to make some tiny dots. So I'm adding a few more details with the rubber tool and this is the result. I think it's pretty fun. And next I have another card also with the packing tape and I'm going to draw another shape. And because the paint is still wet, you can basically draw anything you like. You can make a bit more variation in the line size. So this basically gives you a lot more options. And when you draw something that's not quite the way you like it, you can just use the wet paint to make some adjustments. And here I was going for a bit of a fur look, but once I filled the head, I did not quite like it. So I just used the wet paint to fill those marks again. And this is a cool option you have, which you don't have with regular scratch paper. And I think by removing the paint and adding it back again, the end result with the fun texture is actually pretty cool. And make sure to give this technique a try. It's fun and it's colorful as you make it. There's some more inspiration right here, somewhere around here. And as always, make sure to keep on crafting.